One afternoon in 1985, when I was 10 years old, I remember being at a friend's house around the corner from our home and talking with my friends outside on their front lawn when I heard their mother let out this very disturbing scream unlike anything I ever heard before or since. She ran out the front door to the lawn crying uncontrollably. I was so scared of what I was seeing that I jumped on my bike and I hurried home. I didn't know what was going on, but I knew it had to be something serious. And it was. My friend's mom knew Kimberly Simon and knew her mother, and had just found out that Kimberly's body was found, having been beaten, sexually assaulted, and strangled off Mohawk Street in Whitesboro, New York, just a few miles from where we all lived. Kimberly Simon, born January 12, 1969, was a typical 16-year-old girl in upstate New York, described by loved ones as kind and caring. Most would refer to her as humble and quiet, but those who she was close with would say she was fun and full of life. Living with her parents in Marcy, New York, Kimberly loved music, parties, football games, going to the mall, and talking on the phone. Her memoriam website is full of accounts from those who remember her fondly and are still very disturbed by her murder. On Wednesday, September 18, 1985, Kimberly Simon left her home at 9197 River Road in Marcy, New York, shortly before 6 p.m. to meet her friend, Linda Fiorini, and others at the Whitesboro Junior High School to attend a football game. Kimberly never made it to the school and was reported missing by 11:30 p.m. that night. Kimberly's body was found the following day in the woods off Mohawk Street in Whitesboro, not far from where she had last been seen walking on her way to the school and to meet her friends. She had been raped, sodomized, beaten, and strangled. Police believe her body had been placed there after her death and that her murder likely occurred at another location. What happened that night to Kimberly is still unknown. There have been stories and rumors, and the investigation offers up theories, but ultimately it is still unknown what happened to Kimberly in her final moments. The community believed they had their answer in 1989, when a young man named Stephen Barnes had been tried and convicted for Kimberly's murder. Sadly, all this conviction ultimately gave Central New York was another victim in Stephen Barnes after he had been cleared almost 20 years later through advancements in DNA testing. In 2008, 19 years after he was convicted for Kimberly's murder, Barnes was released from prison and exonerated of these crimes. So what happened to Kimberly Simon? Here are some of what we've learned through the investigations thus far. Investigation reports show that witnesses reported seeing Kimberly speaking to a young man in a truck on Mohawk Street on her way to the junior high school. This man was said to be 18 to 23 years old, light brown hair about shoulder length, and drove a later 1970s model Chevy or GMC brownish red pickup truck. Authorities working Kimberly's case released a police sketch of the male. Another witness claims she saw Kimberly later on that night at a known party spot in New York Mills, New York, known as the Three Bears, an area along the Sequoia Creek named for a stone area that looks similar to the characters in the known children's story. The witness claims to have seen Kimberly at this popular hangout spot with 4 males, and that these 4 males were known for having displayed an interest in occult practices or alleged satanic rituals, as well as having a dark fascination with death. The witness states they were hiding behind a tree when they saw one of these males having sex with an apparent unconscious Kimberly. Later on that night, between the hours of 1 and 2 a.m., Whitesboro police received calls from residents reporting to have heard disturbing screams in the area believed to have come from another known local hangout called the Water Tower. The Water Tower is, like it says, a water tower located off Wilcox Road in Whitesboro, not far from Harts Hill Elementary School. The days after Kimberly's body was discovered, items such as papers belonging to Kimberly were found ripped along the area of Carolyn Court Apartments on Clinton Street in New York Mills, not far from the Three Bears. On September 23, 1985, authorities received an anonymous call claiming to have found one of Kimberly's white shoes in the Sequoia Creek under the Clinton Street Burstone Road Bridge in New York Mills, also not far from the Three Bears. Police later reported a party on Middle Settlement Road in Whitesboro, New York, the night Kimberly was murdered, due to their having been called there for reports of fighting. Middle Settlement Road begins in front of Harts Hill Elementary School in Whitesboro, the area where the Water Tower is located. After Barnes was exonerated in 2008, a multi-agency task force began to re-examine Kimberly Simon's murder case. This included interviewing hundreds of people who may have information or some involvement. This led to authorities focusing on 3 individuals that Kimberly is reported to have been seen with the night of her murder. Police report that these 3 males have a history of abusing animals, abusing women, and using drugs. Though police have not released the names of these 3 persons of interest, it is rumored that one of these 3 is a man named Richard W. Miller, Jr., described by those who knew him as a Satanist. Miller passed away in 2010, rumored to have committed suicide, though I cannot confirm this. Though police have not released the names of the persons of interest, they have discussed Richard Miller Jr. publicly. Local rumors and the internet have come up with a couple possibilities for the other 2 males suspected to be responsible for Kimberly's murder. One possible name, according to True Crime Diva, is Mike, though she provides no reasoning for why he is rumored to be involved. I should add that as a local resident, I also cannot find a reason for why he would be rumored to be involved. A third name I was able to uncover through online searching is William Dennis Penner, formerly of New Hartford, New York. What led me to his name began when I read a post on the website Board Global. Under the post was a comment left by someone who, allegedly, knows what happened that night. In the person's comments, they give the killers the nicknames of Paris Boy Killer and Olive Boy. I then tried several search variations, including one that produced a hit, Olive Boy/Kim Simon. On the first page of search results, only 5 results down, was a link to an obituary for William Penner. In the Obit's guest book, someone left the message, quote, "I'm so lucky I was picked up by you and Olive Boy, not Kim Simon." William passed away in 2018 due to kidney disease. He lived in the area until 1996, when he moved to North Carolina, where he remained until his death. I want to again point out that these names are only given up from rumor. Sure, sometimes rumors do bear truth, but they are also just as often found to be false. It is very important to remember that rumors are often false. After all, it was rumors that led to police focusing their investigation on Barnes back in 1985. Police have stated that their 3 suspects were questioned by the police in 1985 and 1986. The original investigators kept no notes documenting what they thought of each of these men after talking with them. Police have also made reference to a couple witnesses they found to be of interest. One of these witnesses, a young woman from New Hartford named Allison Scranton, is said to have been with one of these 3 suspects on the night of September 18, 1985. Unfortunately, Allison died in 1997. Authorities are asking to speak with anyone who might have information about what Scranton witnessed that night. Another possible witness is a former Whitesboro Central School District student named Michelle Michelaginis. Michelle is rumored to have knowledge of what happened to Kimberly that night. Tragically, though, Michelle committed suicide about a month after Kimberly's body was found in October 1985. Police believe Michelle might have known one of those responsible for Kimberly's murder. Sadly, this information can only lend us giving speculation as to what might have happened to Kimberly Simon that night. I think it's possible that on her way to the junior high school, she was offered a ride by one or more boys that she knew socially. It wouldn't be unheard of for a 16-year-old girl to accept the ride offer in 1985, especially if not offered by strangers. Instead of dropping her off to meet her friends at the school, they likely kept driving up Clinton Street and ended up at the party on Middle Settlement Road. Sometime throughout the night, she could have tried leaving for whatever reason, and those responsible could have stopped her and brought her to the water tower for privacy. While there, things could have gotten out of hand, and one of the boys possibly hurt Kimberly, resulting in her screaming loudly. Her screams could have spooked the boys and caused them to worry they were heard across the neighborhoods, prompting them to take her to another location, such as the Three Bears. While there, she could have been intentionally murdered or unintentionally killed during an assault, and then her body dumped near where they picked her up. As the years carry on, more and more of those with knowledge of Kimberly Simon's murder will continue dying, as many people do as they grow older. It won't be long before the answers are gone for good.